If you don't love hockey after the last 2 days of Game 7 games, you're an idiot. And let's talk about what happened in today's game. Welcome to Kicking with Kipes. So yesterday we had Game 7 between Dallas and the Colorado Avalanche. The Dallas Stars, they had a multi-goal comeback in the third period at home to win the game. And then we had today, Game 7, Winnipeg Jets, St. Louis Blues in Winnipeg. The Winnipeg Jets had a multi-goal comeback in the third period at home. And they go to overtime this time. The game yesterday didn't go into overtime, but man, oh man, did it ever live up to the hype for this game. It had the highs, it had the lows for the Jets. It had the highs, it had the lows for the Blues. And boy, oh boy, was it fun. Let's talk about it. To start off in this game, the St. Louis Blues, they came out smoking hot, piping hot. Jordan Kyrou, he picks up a goal very early in this game, and the crowd goes silent. The Winnipeg whiteout crowd, they don't have anything to say. They were going bananas as the puck was dropped, and the St. Louis Blues put an end to that extremely quickly. Then, not too much longer, Joseph of the St. Louis Blues, he puts in another goal. Very nice shot from the forward. A guy that you don't usually lean towards for goals, but this is what you need in the playoffs. Your depth forwards to get goals. This was Joseph's first goal of the playoffs, and they go up 2-0 really early, and the crowd is even quieter. You could cut the silence with a blunt knife. Twitter is blowing up. Social media is blowing up saying you should not have started Connor Hellebuyck in a do-or-die game. You shouldn't have done this. You should have started Eric Comrie. And the haters were out there like crazy. And to be honest, I was thinking it, but I wasn't putting it out on the internet. It was very risky to put Connor Hellebuyck in this game after the performance that he's had lately. But it did come through in the end. We're not there yet. The St. Louis Blues are technically up 2-0 in a do-or-die game, and the Jets had no answers for them. They were letting the St. Louis Blues walk right up the ice, enter the zone, and create high-danger scoring chances in the first period. The St. Louis Blues had everything to give, and the Jets had nothing to give back. Not only that, the Winnipeg Jets, they went down with their top defenseman. He only played like just over 2 minutes in this game. Josh Morrissey, he went out with an injury and did not return to this game. So that is a massive loss for the Winnipeg Jets moving forward. Let's hope it's not a big injury. But the fact that 5 defensemen had to play the rest of this game, plus an extra period and 3 quarters, and they were able to hold that defense nice and strong for the most part. Cole Perfetti, he's having a coming out party in the last couple games. He scores his second goal of the playoffs and second goal of the series and first goal of the Jets, bringing life back into the Canadian Life Center. But with less than a minute left to go in the second period, Radek Faksa scores his first goal of the playoffs to put the St. Louis Blues up 3-1 heading into the third period, and it seems like it's all doom and gloom for the Winnipeg Jets. The St. Louis Blues, they were holding their own for 90% of this third period. They weren't letting many chances go. The Jets, they looked a million times better than they did in the first 2 periods of this game. They were laying the body. They were putting pucks on net. Binnington, he was looking very calm. The Jets, they almost put a goal in earlier in the period, but it didn't go in. The Jets, they did look better, but with less than 2 minutes in the third period, Vlad Namestnikov pots his second of the series, second of the playoffs, and the Jets have life. It is 3-2 with less than 2 minutes to go. Time to pull the goalie. Connor Hellebuyck goes to the bench. And then the clock is ticking. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. The Canadian Tire Center blows up. Cole Perfetti, he scores his second goal of the game, and the game is tied. The clock on the TV said 1.6, but I just looked at the score app, and it said 19:57, so official recording, it says with 3 seconds left, Cole Perfetti scores the game-tying goal in Game 7 to send it to overtime. We head into the first overtime period. The Jets, they are pretty much dominating this period. The St. Louis Blues, they do have very good chances. It was very close a couple times for the Blues, but the majority of the period was in the hands of the Winnipeg Jets. They had very good chances, but nothing happens. Nothing happens in the first overtime period. We head to an intermission for the second overtime period. where nothing really happens in the first half of the period. It was very back and forth. Both teams had good chances. Again, the Winnipeg Jets probably had the edge. But then, with 3 minutes and 50 seconds left in the second overtime period, I was already counting my time until I was able to go to the washroom during the intermission to head to third overtime. I'm like, there's no way somebody's breaking this deadline. But Captain Adam Lowry carrying his team, leading by example as the captain of this team. He puts the team on his back. Beautiful deflection out in front from a Neil Pionk shot. Boom. Back of the net. The Canadian Life Center goes banana lands. This place is bumping. The crowd outside is going bananas. It is just a party inside the arena. It is deafening. And the Jets, they win Game 7, double overtime, 4-3, thanks to Adam Lowry, their captain, who gets his third of the playoffs. And the Jets, their reward for this game is that they get to go play the Dallas Stars in round 2, which is not going to be any easier. And I'm not even saying this as a hot take. The next series is going to be so much harder for the Winnipeg Jets than the St. Louis Blues were, and they struggled to get out of this series. So we will be very intrigued to see what Jake Ottinger has to say about this Jets team. The Jets, they have every chance to beat the Dallas Stars, but the Dallas Stars are a whole different beast. They just took down the Colorado Avalanche without Heiskanen, without Jason Robertson, and those guys probably won't be back for Game 1, but they will be back in round 2. So on that note, insane 2 days of hockey. We had the home teams coming from behind to defeat their opponent in the third period. Yesterday, Rantanen gets a hat trick for the comeback for the Dallas Stars. Today, Nemestikov and Perfetti score in the last 2 minutes of the game to put the Jets into overtime, and then Adam Lowry, he puts that game-winning goal. Binnington looked amazing in this game. Hellebuck, he looked very bad. He looked very bad in the first period, I'll be honest. And the second and third period, he eased into his own, but in overtime and everything, he did look like the Hellebuck that was very strong, very straightforward, very aware of his surroundings.